Hello, Virgo. Amyenergy here with your weekly tarot message. If you have not, Virgo, please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate that. Hit the little bell so that you'll be notified whenever I make a new video. Alright. So we're going to start here with the Dreams of Gaia deck, jumping in Earth, Air, Fire, and Water energy. Earth, Air, Fire, Water energy for Virgo, please, Spirit. Okay, so in our stability, we have the Child coming out in reverse. So I do feel like this is definitely, something here that may be blocking, our ability to really connect with that child inside here. Wow, definitely really interesting energies coming out here, Virgo. Going to clarify with the Rider-Waite-Smith. I really wanted to use my juiciest, most used decks this week. I am really trying to pull us out some deep messages this week. Definitely that's what I was being called to do, so I have the sunflowers here to lighten things up, but I think we're going to be getting deep here, Virgo. It does look like we are sort of struggling just to connect to this child inside of us. Alright, Spirit, any additional messages for Virgo, clarifying the Child in reverse? Yes, we have the World coming out, so I do feel like, you have a lot of options in your world right now, but you may be feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. To be honest, Virgo, you may really be feeling a lot of pressure here. One more card, Spirit. The Ten of Cups. So definitely beautiful energy coming out, Virgo. I am seeing that we are, certainly working through this energy here. Really connecting to this inner child. And yes, we may feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulder, but we also do have a lot of options, and the Ten of Cups is coming out, so I do feel like we are sort of coming to a place of completion where we really do have to acknowledge everything that we have accomplished here, because I feel like this is us really appeasing our child inside. Wow, Virgo. Wow. We have now here in our community our air energy. We have the Six of Water. So really beautiful energy. It is coming up in reverse. So we're definitely thinking about our memories here, Virgo. Definitely thinking about our memories, thinking, about our past experiences. So I'm trying to give you a little better view of the cards. Definitely thinking about our past here. And, it could be, even trauma from our past. I see the Wheel of Fortune coming up, so I feel like we could be healing karma here. And it does look like we are doing this with a community. It's coming up in our community, so I'm feeling like, we're really in our community, sort of though feeling in this Nine of Wands energy, just a little apprehensive to step forward, but I'm letting you know now, Virgo, that you have come this far. You made it. You deserve to, take this opportunity to get aligned on the path of your destiny. We do have in your fire energy, your passions, we have the emotions coming out in reverse. So emotions is coming out in reverse, also indicating a potential blockage here. And we also have, though, the Two of Swords coming out in reverse, along with Temperance. So I do feel like we may be kind of forced to make a choice here against our will, Virgo. We may have, had this choice sort of thrust upon us. And, I feel like we're really handling the whole entire situation well, but maybe like repressing some emotions here. And we definitely want to work through those emotions. Our emotions are a part of experiencing life. So we definitely want to make sure we are tapping into those emotions. And there may be some uncomfortable emotions with this card coming out in reverse. I am feeling that, this could be a bit uncomfortable. Lord. Okay, let's fix the cards here. So, yeah, definitely may not be the most comfortable thing here in our passions. Like I said, I do feel like sort of a choice is being made here, but I do not feel like we are making the choice. I feel like this is just a change is sort of happening. Yeah. Now here in our emotions, we have Journey coming out. So I do feel like, Virgo, we have been, because we're clarifying this with the Four of Swords in reverse, I feel like we have sort of been resting, been in this sort of rest area, this resting time, not like an actual rest area, but this period of rest. And I do feel like with this card coming up in reverse, we are sort of waking up, taking those first steps, and sort of like getting back to work, getting back in the groove of things. I feel like this time that we've spent here in rest and restoration has really, given us a lot of drive to sort of evolve here. I feel like now we're stepping on the path of our journey, and we're really solid and stable here emotionally. So definitely really love that for you, Virgo. Really love this message. Any other messages, Spirit, for Virgo? All right, Virgo. I am going to go ahead and I don't usually do this, but I'm pulling out the guidebook for these cards this week. I myself have just been brought to tears several times by this super powerful writing in this Sacred Rebel guidebook. So I'm going to pull a card over your reading here, Virgo, and then I will read from the guidebook. So definitely I ask you guys to hang out for that, but you don't have to. But I really feel that these are very powerful messages. All right, so we have over your reading, Virgo, going beyond normal. Now I gotta find it in the book. All right. So on the path of life, there are deciding moments where we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way. even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. The sacred rebel within our hearts will always choose a juicier approach to life. You are currently approaching such a choice point. You could say that the choice is about balance. It is less about choosing to honor either art or science, gardening or architecture, and more about integrating all approaches so that you enhance rather than hinder your life journey. Placing science or architecture above all else kills off the rebellious heart, steadfastly relying on logic, proof, and a complete set of plans to measure and dictate outcomes will suffocate the soul. Basing decisions on limited factors with an imbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust, so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct, and trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it unfold as it will. There is a time and a place for logic, strategy, planning, and measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, but we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to quash our less rational but equally valuable decision-making tools, intuition, feelings, and those things you know without knowing how you know them. The flowing inspirational energy of the heart may have no conceivable basis in logic or reason and still be uncannily accurate. To remain rebellious, we must not sacrifice the art of emotion, instinct, passion, and intuition for the science of logic and strict planning. On the other hand, gardening and art do provide us with a plan, albeit more loosely held. This plan still requires us to set aside time to draw upon reliable methods and to prepare with certain tools. However, there is also a healthy dose of organic flow, responsiveness, and trust in the creative process of bringing something to life. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant, and successful garden and the most vivid healing art. You are being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as in your spiritual journey. The intuitive approach can be likened to the method of a gardener or an artist. There is a sense of what might work where and a loose or even detailed plan, but how the plan is carried out will depend and respond to the flow of its surroundings. There is no need to control the situation, but rather a desire to nurture an idea to fruition. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature to do things according to the rules, to a deadline, or to the accepted mainstream view that you will need a well-thought-out plan for success in a commercial venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and trust that you are being led toward your own growth. Adopting this approach means you have to do far less planning and far more living. It is a pure and a heart-centered way to manifest your art, your life path, and your essence into practical expression in the world. It involves a willingness to be led by nature instead of trying to control the powerful force of life, which is a bit like trying to fit a proverbial ocean in a teacup. It is far more intelligent to allow the ocean to be the ocean and to learn to swim in it, rather than trying to cram it into a vessel that is much too small. This oracle brings you a special piece of guidance. You are moving outside of the plan. You are living on the border of what is socially acceptable. This is good. This is fringe dwelling freedom. Others might not see this about you straight away as you seem pretty normal, but that secret eccentric streak is just waiting to show itself. And maybe you are an out and proud fringe dweller, completely comfortable with this way of being. Either way, this oracle brings you the message that you now have a chance to live from the heart more deeply and expressively than ever before. It wants you to realize that this is a legitimate, empowered, and creative way to live that honors all of who you are. You can give up forcing or squashing yourself down into a very limited set of so-called desirable qualities like intellect and control. If you are yet to relate to this consciously, this oracle brings you the further message that you are going to be breaking with tradition. Perhaps not entirely, but at least in a way that is meaningful to you. This will require you to have courage in your convictions and faith in your heart truths. This will help you and inspire others around you to step out of fear and live more freely and lovingly. You are not necessarily meant to abandon logic and intellect altogether. You are to use them to serve the desires of the heart, rather than to replace its naturally spontaneous and truthful nature with controlled planning and narrow strategy. It's time to get a bit wild and let nature take its course. Healing process. Say aloud, I now call on unconditional love, and I ask for the blessings of the heart to be witnessed and sanctioned by the great universal creator, so that I may rise above small-mindedness and use the best of what human culture has to offer in service to love through my own free will. So be it. Visualize or imagine the feeling of being in a most gorgeous garden. It might be well manicured, a little bit wild, or a wildly overgrown jungle. Just notice it. Notice how all the plants work together and how it is supported by nature and the seasons. Notice that while some things thrive, others fall away, only to shift again with the season. There is such organizational genius. Say, may the wisdom and guiding hand of the great gardener who works with unconditional love nurture the garden of my soul into magnificence. I dare to live creatively from my heart and thrive. Finish your healing process by sitting quietly, dancing wildly, or doing a spot of gardening, whatever feels good. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, Virgo. Please leave me a comment. Please like this video. Connect with me on Instagram. I will have a photo of this spread, and also we'll be going live this week to answer all of your lingering questions. I love you. Take care.